Looks like they need a substitution here. Oh, yes, they found the formula now. It's a numbers game, plus Santander. A perfect partnership on BT Sport.
And welcome to It's a Numbers Game. I'm Dr. Hannah Fry.
And I'm Pippa Monique. And this is a show that takes you to the secret heart of sport. That's the science behind every goal, every catch, and every photo finish.
So strap yourself in, because today we're going to be testing the raw power of Ugo Monye against the poise and grace of a ballerina.
And find out how one man changed an entire sport with a simple bit of scientific know-how.
And we're going to recreate spectacular diving in our own unique way. But first, ever since we started with the show, there's been one guy who hasn't stopped going on about how he is the strongest in the studio. And you know what? It's true. Ugo Monye did have a stellar career as an international rugby player. But honestly, you'd think he'd taken up bodybuilding the way that he talks off camera.
I'm just trying to stay fit, you know. I'm trying to keep the dad bod in check. Lockdown's been tough.
Well, that's all well and good, Ugo, but I think we found something that's a little bit stronger than you. And this may crack you up, but I don't think you're stronger than the humble egg.
OK. I mean, an egg. I thought initially you were going to say Mensah. I think we know the answer to that one. But how's the egg stronger than me? Well,
I don't think you'll be able to crack it by squeezing it from the top and the bottom.
Just like that?
Yeah, eggs are pretty strong, you know.
OK, well...
You've got to actually try. Okay.
I'm trying,
I think
Hannah.
He's trying.
I'm trying, but, I mean, that's...
Can you really not do it?
No.
Go on, two hands.
That's so annoying. Why is it annoying, this little egg?
OK, so eggs, they're some of the most amazing structures in all of nature. So the natural arch shape, what it does is when you apply that force, it spreads it out throughout the entirety of the egg. And where you're holding it there, top and bottom, that's like the strongest line through it. But the thing is, it has to be that strong so to keep what's inside it safe, but also has to be fragile enough that a little baby animal can peck its way out.
Perfect composition. That's amazing.
But how much weight can eggs actually take? Well, since you can't make an omelette without breaking a few, we've bought in a ton of them for our next test, which I must say I'm very excited about. This is going to be excellent, isn't it?
OK, enough with your puns, Pippa.
Anyway, we've got our eggs rigged up so that Ugo can stand on them. We're going to give him as much weight as he thinks he can carry, and then we're going to see who gives up first, the man or the egg.
I mean, I'm not going to give up, but my body might give up on me, so... OK.
OK, so a few of them are probably going to crack as you step on, just because they're not all perfectly flat, but the majority of them should hold. Let's have a look. Pretty good. We had a couple of them go, but most of them are still standing. All right, go on. Let's see if you can pick it up. So the platform's 20 kilos. The bar is 40.
And how much do you weigh?
I'm 99.
Ah.
Eggs are really
way to
strong.
take us.
Should we put some more weight on?
How are we doing? See all those ones in the centre? They're still holding strong.
I can't believe this.
There's a lot of cracking going.
Let's go again. Let's go again. Come on, the eggs.
A little bit more.
Wow, that's really heavy, guys.
You always were a bit of an egg chaser, Ugo.
Pippa, that's your best yet.
Let's see how I've done. OK, so you've got about 3/4 of the eggs are broken, I reckon. But they're still holding you. They're still holding you. I wonder, though, how much more the egg can take, because there will be a point where they just all go.
OK.
Altogether, 90 plus you're 100. I mean, I added a kilo. It's just been Easter. You ate some eggs. So we're at 230. Come on, then, we'll go to 250. We'll go to 250. Nice and gentle, if you could.
I'm not appreciating the VAT you put onto my body weight there, Hannah, just by the way.
That extra 1 kilogram.
Yep. Oh, here we go.
Oh, they're going. There's only a few left.
OK, let's get some more. Let's get some more. All we need is a bit of gas and we've got a hell of an omelette.
Yeah, it's all gone now.
Yeah.
They're squirting.
Yeah, there you go.
It is amazing. OK, all right, Ugo, you know what? Eggs are pretty strong, but I think you might have won that challenge.
Can I celebrate beating eggs?
I think, Ugo, honestly, you'd manage to celebrate anything. Any victory. Any victory. OK, this is serious now. In the interest of science, rotate it 90 degrees. There's got to be a weak spot on this, so there we go. Now try and just squeeze it just with your fingers.
Oh. Well, that was easy.
Really annoyed about your shoes.
Yep, there we are. Yeah, thanks for that, guys.
And as amazing as that was, it's time for something even more excellent. It's this week's Look Through the Champions League Vaults, where today we're looking at the most acrobatic goals. And there's some real crackers in here.
Footballers are superstars in their own right, so they have to keep their feet on the ground. Unless they're playing in the Champions League. Then they can throw off the shackles of gravity and soar to superhuman heights. This week, we take a look at some of the Champions League's greatest gravity-defying goals. First up, Olivier Giroud. He's an ice-cool striker who scores big goals in big games. And when Chelsea needed a goal against Atletico Madrid, Giroud was their hirsute hero, launching himself skywards to bag the winner with this outstanding acrobatic effort. Cooler than Iceman and a beard that'd make Thor jealous. Ooh la la. Next up, Welsh King of the Wing, Gareth Bale. Bale started the 2018 Champions League final as a sub, but in the 61st minute, with the scores tied, he climbed off the bench and took to the sky to score this absolute beauty with just his second touch of the game. When Madrid needed a hero, Bale put on his cape and soared to the rescue with one of the greatest Champions League final goals ever. Defying gravity, Wales, golf, in that order. Finally, the undisputed king of the skies, Cristiano Ronaldo. Launching himself into superhuman feats is an everyday thing for CR7, and he's scored more than 100 career headers. But even by his superhuman standards, this next goal is a bit special. Playing against his former side, Man United, Ronaldo takes off like Superman to head home, and the stats behind this jump are stunning. He reached a height of 2.93 metres. That's more than a metre taller than his own height. And it's his highest recorded jump in any competition ever. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, he actually is Superman. So there you have it, some of the best goals from the Champions League's gravity-defying heroes. Catch us next week for more superhuman action.
Well, keeping on the theme of football, we are joined in the studio by our very own stats wizard, Duncan Alexander, also known as the face of Opta Joe. And today, Duncan, I think you're going to be talking us through some old balls.
That is true. How did you guess? Obviously, people have been playing football for thousands of years, and they've had to make do with what they could kind of make into a rough sphere at various points. So pig's bladders, all sorts of stuff. Anyway, 1800s, football was codified. So this football here is a replica, probably early 20th century. This is obviously a modern ball. These weigh the same.
Do they?
The regulations haven't changed on how much a ball should weigh since the mid-1800s.
Oh, wow.
But that ball at the end is the same ball as this that's been soaked in water. So these two, the modern ball and the replica old ball, both roughly the same, about 440 grams each. The old one here that's been soaked is up to 759 grams. So it's not far off, twice the weight. Right, enough talking about footballs. I want to see footballs smashed into a net.
I am very interested in kicking these.
I'm going behind the net, OK?
OK, cool.
Modern first.
Let's go modern
Save
first.
the vintage for
Yes,
last.
exactly.
Let's go with the classic modern start.
It feels lovely.
So you must have kicked
Right,
the ball like
fast as
this
you can, Ugo.
many times.
Yes.
Woohoo! 65.
Let's see how it compares.
Well, this feels nice, though.
So
The
we've
old
gone
leather.
from synthetic to leather. I think this is going to feel lovely to kick.
64.
Felt lovely.
Oh, this one, that is heavy, and it feels like misshapen as well. Feel that?
This one's heavy, and water and leather just don't mix, so it's now actually lost its shape.
What do you expect with this one? A bit slower?
I'm expecting my quad to go through that goal before that football does. This is a heavy ball.
You know what, actually, from this angle, it doesn't even look round. It looks like it's gone lopsided.
What speed was that?
It's too scared to break. It was 62. How's your foot?
It's yeah. I mean, your body just takes a pounding.
At the 1966 World Cup, there are only 2 direct free-kick goals, and you can kind of imagine why. It was the last World Cup with a ball a bit like this one. If you look at, say, the 66 World Cup and the 2010 World Cup, the number of passes more than doubled in 2010, but the number of shots is there's hardly any compared to 1966. So that football back then was generally a lot of dribbling with the ball, maybe a few little passes and then a shot, and then the other team have a go, and then back and forth.
Well, the ball's not the only thing that's changed in modern sports. Pippa took a trip to see Dr. Nick Owen at Swansea University to find out how one man could change an entire sport with just a little bit of science.
Hi, Pip. Let me tell you a story. At the first modern Olympics in 1896, the high jump was one of the main events, but the technique was nothing like we know today. Such was the popularity of jumping in the next games in 1900, new events were added, including the standing broad jump and the standing high jump. However, organisers soon realised that these events were a bit silly and abandoned them. Over the years, world records for the high jump went up from 1.97 metres in 1895 to 2.01 metres in 1912 to 2.13 metres in 1956 and to 2.23 metres in 1960. At the 1968 Games, the USA sent a high jumper named Dick Fosbury, and he won gold and stunned the world with his new and dramatic technique dubbed the Fosbury Flop.
Why was it so successful?
Oi, get out of it. This is my narration. The success of Fosbury's flop was all about manipulating his body to change the position of his centre of gravity, the point where all your weight appears to be concentrated. When you're standing with your arms down by your side, your centre of gravity would be around the height of your pelvis and in the centre of your body. When your arms are moved upwards, you're also moving some of your body weight upwards, and as a result, your centre of gravity moves vertically up your body. If only one arm is moved up, weight again moves upwards, but only on one side. This means that the centre of gravity moves not just up your centre line, but also diagonally towards the raised arm. When you put your arms out in front of you, the weight moves upwards and outwards. The centre of gravity follows. When you bend down to touch your toes, you're not only moving the weight of your arms, but also the weight of your body forwards and downwards. In fact, you're moving so much weight forwards that the centre of gravity can actually be outside your body. Now, all previous jumping techniques required jumpers to lift their centre of gravity over the bar. But when Fosbury launched himself into the flop, his centre of gravity is similar to when bending down and touching your toes, but in the opposite direction. So as he jumps, his centre of gravity is actually underneath him, going under the bar. This new body position meant that he was able to pass over a higher bar by flipping his legs up and over, which no competitor had previously thought to try. The technique went on to dominate the event, and today it is still the standard for all competitors, and world records continue to go up and up, with the world record now at 2.45 metres, unbroken since 1993.
Wow, that really was an amazing flop.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? So next time you think of a flop, always think of the flop. There was a winner.
Now, from one man who revolutionised jumping to another one who hopes he can do the same, we're putting Ugo Monye's jumping skills to the test just to measure how much power is in those legs.
Yeah, they're not the biggest legs, Pippa, but you know what they say? Dynamite comes in sticks.
Now, Ugo, we know you're all about power, but do you have more power than our next guest, contemporary ballet dancer Rebecca Bassett-Graham? Hello. Do you think you actually have what it takes to have more power than Ugo?
Yeah.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
No doubt.
Ugo, don't let me down, bro, please.
Bro, this is for you. This is for you.
For the culture as well.
Anyway, to see how Ugo and Rebecca compare, Dr. Nick Owen from Swansea University has brought in, with no expense spared, the force plate.
Is that it? I mean, it's a little underwhelming, Dr. Nick, but go on, tell us what it does.
OK, the principles are simple. It's pretty much the same as your bathroom scales. It measures how much you're pushing into the ground, but it does it 2,000 times a second, and it does it in 3 dimensions. And we're going to get from it a measure of power, because it measures how you can get the energy from within your body outside of your body.
Right, Ugo, we're going to start with you, so why don't you step up and show us what you got?
You're looking stiff already. I
Oh,
can't
mate,
lie.
I'm old. Like, I'm old.
OK, step on, please, Ugo.
Do this.
Hands on your hips. Jump.
Bro, you almost broke his ankle.
Mate, what, that force like went through my spine.
It was high. It was high.
The result for Ugo is 6,460 watts. That's equivalent to the electricity that you need for 3 kettles, so to boil 3 kettles of water.
You can't start the conversation. That's really powerful, but it's enough to be able to boil 3 kettles.
3 kettles at the same
that's
time.
a lot of cups of
bro.
tea, you know?
That's a lot of cups.
In fairness, I did that in a split second. Bang, you got tea.
OK. 3 kettles, that's what we've got to beat. Becca, do you want to have a go?
All right.
Jump.
She didn't even make a sound.
Silent.
She didn't even make a sound, bro.
Right.
We all
Tomb
heard
Raider.
when Ugo landed.
I know, innit? Ugo almost broke the thing when he landed.
Huh? Hey, honestly, how's that? How are you feeling? Yeah, good. I'm just fine.
OK, so we've got a result for Rebecca, and the raw score for Rebecca is 2,280 watts.
How many kettles?
Just over 1.
OK.
But what we've got to do now to make it a fair competition is actually scale these up to take account for the fact that Rebecca doesn't weigh as much as Ugo, and Rebecca's a female, and Ugo isn't.
Do you think this is a fairer comparison?
Yeah, because if you're bigger, you've got bigger muscles, you've got a bigger cross-sectional area, and therefore you can propel yourself faster and with more power. So it's quite common in Olympic weightlifting, for example. They will scale things up depending on people's body weight. Yeah. The final results after scaling are that Ugo is producing 52.9 watts for every kilogram of his body mass, and Rebecca is producing 55.9.
Impressive. How about that, Ugo?
That's crazy, bro. She schooled you and you're wearing a PE kit.
Scales, science. Got to accept that, haven't I?
Well, it's very gracious of you, Ugo, but you know what? You've got another chance. Because right next to you, we have what is known as a flight time machine. So the idea behind this is it's going to measure who can stay in the air for the longest. OK, your biggest, longest jump possible.
Like LeBron James.
Big. That was big. That was a big one.
It was.
That was 699 milliseconds in the air, and your height was just a shade under 60 centimetres. It's pretty good.
There we go.
Pretty good. OK, Rebecca, see if you can beat it. So as high and as long as you can go, Rebecca. So close.
And a break.
558 milliseconds, and your height quite a lot lower. But you know what, though? It's because your toes were so pointy.
Because I look elegant.
Exactly. There's another column here which is elegance, and you scored very highly on that. About this, then, Nick, what is it about jumping that means that some people can stay in the air longer than others?
It's how long they can stay at the peak of their jump is the key element for athletes. So, for example, Ronaldo, when he jumps up, he hitch kicks his lower legs, and this brings his centre of gravity up his body. And when he wants to make himself stable, his centre of gravity starts coming down, but he brings his legs down as well, which means that his head stays at the same height for just a split second, but that's long enough for him to head the ball in.
Rebecca, would you like to have a go where you bring up your legs to try and manipulate your centre of gravity? That helped. 582.
Can I have another go?
No. All right, there you go, Ugo. I think let's call that 1-1, but it's 2-1 if you include Grace.
Hannah, Ugo's grace was non-existent.
I agree.
Amazing stuff, but not all sports come down to power. Some require someone with a bit of a delicate touch, a bit of finesse, a bit of subtlety. How are you at table tennis, Hannah?
I'm about as good as you would expect a mathematician to be at sports.
Well, I'm not an expert either, but I found a world record that you and Andrew can give a try and maybe get in the famous book.
Yeah, I'm all about breaking records, people. You know me. So talk to me. What we doing? Because right now, I'm looking crazy.
Well, it's pretty simple, really. All you have to do is complete a back-and-forth table tennis rally with just 28 returns.
28? I'm not an expert in table tennis, but that doesn't sound too hard. I reckon we can do that.
Well,
sure.
that's because you have to do it with an egg.
An egg?
Hard-boiled.
No.
That's why you're making us wear this.
Yeah,
OK.
you're setting us up already.
So, when you're ready, I'll count you in.
I've been set up.
3, 2, 1, go. Just gently go.
Oh! Let's go again, go again, go again.
27 to go.
I'm knocking it onto the floor.
It's just...
Then bounce.
first-
OK,
that
come on,
first swing.
come on. Come on, go again.
No, see, the start is killing me. Oh, here we go.
OK. Gentle. That was too hard.
You
Way
see that
too
catch,
hard.
though? That was kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's
catch.
quite easy to catch when it's wet. Come on.
Remember I said elegance.
She got it.
Subtlety. Right.
How did they get 28, bro?
They were better at this than us, I think.
All right.
Come on.
Gentle.
What the? Spinning it. Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
okay,
Go on.
good.
OK, go on.
Subtle.
Come on. Go on.
Easy with your eggs.
There you
Okay.
go.
Ooh. Keep it going.
There you go.
Great. This is great.
There you go. There you go.
That's 4. Oh, that's 5. This is exciting.
No, people, you can't make me laugh, man.
Just 24 to go. Just another 24.
Hannah, we got this, man. 29 in us. Ready?
Oh, you got 5. Oh, that's 6.
Fine. I can't lie, my back is hurting right now.
7. 7. 8.
Yes.
Hey, you guys are really getting the hang
Double
of this.
digits.
Hannah, that was too quick. Oh, but you got it. No. Why are we rushing? I mean, it was impressive.
We were only 20 off.
It was 20 off.
That's pretty good.
Well, while that was a lot of fun, I think it's clear that Hannah and Andrew are not breaking any records today. We'll let them get cleaned up while you check out our next feature.
Maths lessons were obviously my favourite part of school.
Ah, those famous equations. If a train goes at 20 miles per hour and leaves at 9:10, what time will it get there?
I used to love those, man. Those little brain teasers that kept my mind so sharp.
Of course it is, Mensah. So these things, they're called mathematical models, which is pretty much any time where you use maths to calculate or make predictions about the real world. And mathematical models are unbelievably useful when it comes to sport. Diving is a really good example. You can use mathematical models to calculate how fast somebody is going just before they hit the water.
I'm not gonna lie, that sounds wavy, yeah, but I think we're gonna need to see this in action.
You know what, though? We thought Olympic diving board, it's a bit boring, isn't it? It's a bit obvious, isn't it, Pippa?
Exactly.
Yeah. So instead, we thought that we could use this.
Oh, not the crane guy again. Just leave me alone, please.
It's OK, it's OK. We're not sending you up in it this time, Andrew, because we've got somebody else who's going to be going from the crane into the water.
Who's this guy?
This is Fred.
I thought it was Ugo.
He's a training dummy for lifeguards, and we're putting him in that crane, going up 160 feet and diving into that lake.
And we're gonna time him doing it.
Has anyone got a stopwatch?
Of course I got to stop. What kind of question is that?
Perfect. Let's get him ready.
Nah, guys, I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't really feeling Fred's form.
The landing, though, I enjoyed that bit.
Poor Fred, he dived like so, it hit the water so hard and so fast.
Dive. Fell, I think. OK, what did you get for your time?
I got 3.52.
3.45 for me.
3.5.
OK, so
Very close.
pretty much the same. OK, so the main thing that's happening as Fred was falling is gravity. And gravity means that you accelerate towards the Earth at 9.81 metres per second squared. We know that he did that for about 3.5 seconds. So if you multiply those two together, you end up with 34 metres per second.
And how fast is that in, like, miles per hour?
Between about 75 and 80. I'm saying plus or minus because I don't think our timing was absolutely perfect.
That's insane speed.
It's a bit rough around the edges, I think, that estimate, because we haven't taken into account things like air resistance and drag. But that really is an example of a very simple mathematical model.
Doc, that was amazing. I still can't believe how fast Fred was moving and how quickly he managed to work it all out.
I mean, I cheated slightly. I did use a calculator, if I'm honest. But that was an example of just a really simple mathematical model. We didn't take loads of things into account, like air resistance and drag, but it does demonstrate how useful they can be. And that's the thing about mathematical modelling. You find them everywhere in sports. You can use them to look at long-distance runners. You can use them to track footballers in a live match environment. The possibilities really are endless.
That's just about all we've got time for today, but looking back, Doc, it seems as though everything we covered this week has something to do with gravity. Am I right?
You're absolutely right, because so much of sport is about using mass and gravity to your advantage. But that, sadly, is time for us to go. Make sure that you look out for clips on btsport.com, and don't forget to join us next week for more of the amazing science behind sport.
This is the moment they've been waiting for, and that's the winning combination. It's a numbers game plus Santander, a perfect partnership on BT Sport.
No Premier League this weekend. Instead, we're at Wembley for an FA Cup semi-final.
Somebody says they have a belt, well, I'm coming for it.
When you step into my cage, I'm a whole nother savage.